Well met, everyone. I am Rich the Lich. I recently purchased some Pathfinder pawns, the Bestiary 2 box set. In this video, I'd like to give you a bit of an overview and talk to you about what these things are. Second, I will show you all of the actual pawns that come within the box. And finally, I'll talk to you a little bit about how I use them, why I use them, and hopefully inform you as to whether or not you feel like this might be something that is a good fit for you and your gaming group. This is what the Bestiary 2 box looks like. As I said, Pathfinder pawns. Now, this is not a product that is very new at all. Pathfinder pawns have been around for years now, and I've been using them for quite some time. I feel like they add a good amount of detail and depth and epicness to my encounters while allowing me to put my focus elsewhere when it comes to prep time, because I don't have to worry about painting miniatures and I don't have to obsess about things. So I'll go over that sort of as my final point in how I use these. Let me just open this up and simply show you what they are, okay? You got to get this wrapper off. So for that, I need some tools. Oh my, are you kidding me? What the? I think this thing is Lich Trap. This thing is like going into freaking Undermountain. It's trapped in impenetrable fortress. Oh my. This is what you get. You get some plastic bags. And that's it, folks. There's the review. I'm kidding. So you get these plastic bags, which have all these different bases in them. Now, here's the interesting thing. I bought this at my local gaming store. You can get it on Amazon for about 25 bucks. You can buy some extra bases, which I do need some more, and you'll get about this same amount for 15 bucks. So why not spend the extra $10 and get that much extra goodness, you know? We're talking, what does it say? 250. So 250 things plus the bases you would have gotten anyway. So what is the Pathfinder pawn? They're miniatures. They're things you can bring to your table. They're a definite upgrade from dice, you know, a D6 or something like that to represent your orcs. So you get these bases, and then I'm actually going to punch one guy out. So we're going to punch out this. It's a Juju zombie. Cool. So you take this guy, really good cardstock. All right, we're talking some durable stuff. So I'm trying to bend and break this. I'm not kidding. It'll hold up a lot. So really, really good stuff. And you put him inside the base, and then you put him down onto your table, and you attack people with him. So that's what you're getting, is you're getting these upgrades to miniatures. Now, of course, we are not quite at this level of detail and depth, right? So let me slide this out of the way. Here you've got some really cool people, little guys. All right, this is from World of Warcraft. I think a miniature game or something. This is an actual pit fiend. So this guy looks so much cooler, right? But remember, 250 of these guys with bases, really durable, good cardstock, nice little label on them. This tells you that it's a Juju zombie. The other thing is the quality of the print is really well done. When you look at these things and you punch them out, it's not like you're punching this guy out, this Thrasfire. You're not punching this guy out. So check this out. I didn't leave a lot of his picture in the cutout that you're going to eventually throw away. So good quality, good cardstock, beautiful artwork on both sides. They fit into the bases nicely. This will give you the appropriate base size to fit him in. Okay, so the scale is still there. I mean, if you look at this guy and this guy, the scale is still there. But of course, you're not getting that 3D element of it. But this guy here probably costs you, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 bucks. A box of miniatures like this are going to cost you 25. For 25 bucks, I got 250 of these miniatures. Okay? So, and then also, if you want to buy these cheaper, you're going to get like the Nolzurs or WizKids things. There's a bunch of different miniature lines that are coming out now. What's going to happen, though, is now you got to paint those guys. Okay? So, I'm a big fan of Pathfinder pawns, even though I have my own terrain and I've got some of the money to be able to buy the things I need. You'll notice, of course, I've got some of these, but Pathfinder pawns, I think, is the way to go. So what you get in this box is 250 of these guys. Let me show them all to you. So here he is, little miniature cardboard cutouts that you put inside of standees and you put them on your battle mat. Okay? So what you get, you're going to get this thing. Don't forget the Juju Zombie. The Juju Zombie's down here, so you won't see that, right? But here's what you get. Pretty cool. Very neat. Some more goodness. Even more goodness. More stuff. A bit more stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Even cooler stuff. I think that looks like a... That the guy that attacked... No, that's a Drake. Thought it was a Balrog of Morgoth. Ooh, elementals. Nice. Magma, lightning, ice. Very sweet. Almost there. Check that out. So if you feel like this has taken a while to show you everything, then that's just showing you how much you're getting in this $25, $30 box. And you can see, as I said, the artwork is, it's dead on. I mean, it really is. Look at the little bits on the spider there. How much is sort of sticking out on the outside. So you're not getting this half crop thing. But sometimes you may find some pieces that have that, what is it, the Magic the Gathering thing, where it's worth so much more because it's a misprint. Very cool. Nice dragons. Oh, these are awesome. The artwork is outstanding. Sweet. Frostworm. Very cool. And finally, your last one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of take a look at a few of them and just talk over, not all of them, of course, some that I think stand out for me. The artwork on the larger ones, of course, you've got more space to create more detail, so they're beautiful. Outstanding. Well done. I like the Jabberwock. Very cool. Now, why did I purchase this? There's a bunch of, there's NPC Codex, there's Bestiary. I think they go all the way up to 5. You know, and what Pathfinder has done is they've made pawns for a bunch of different sort of adventures and modules and stories and whatnot. Just like you would find Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica miniatures that sort of are made to complement the release of the new Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica campaign setting. You're going to find Pathfinder pawns where when you look and flip through a book, it might be a very desert environment or, you know, the ruins of some temple. And you'll, you know, maybe inspired by ancient Egypt. And you'll find pawns that have that sort of aesthetic to it. So this is more of a generic one. I think Bestiary Box 1 and 2 are the ones that give you more of your tried and true, you know, your orcs, your humanoids, your trolls, your goblins, your dragons, demons, the things that you would typically find in the monster manual. Why I get these is, or why I bought Bestiary Box 2 is this is a different load of miniatures here. This is nothing here is the same. They're all unique. I don't get a single one, as far as I know, that is the same as what I already have. So it's giving me some more options. Now, how I use these things. So I like the Jabberwock. He's kind of cool. These dragons, the Frostworm is really neat. The Taiga Giant, so that's really neat. What I will often do is, say I'm going to have my PCs fight something, right? And obviously, I'm going to have my PCs fight a giant that looks like he's been corrupted by this dark, foul, you know, this entity, this demonic entity has sort of navigated and traveled his way through the land. And he's corrupted and defiled everything. And it's created this shadow where light no longer, you know, the sun no longer rises in this particular region. And I explained to my PCs that they're going to fight some giant, or they come upon this giant that's now going to be the encounter. What I can start doing when I'm planning and brainstorming this is, I just know I want him to be a giant, so I want the miniature to be big. And then I also want the miniature to be able to have some sort of like a long pole arm or a spear that's larger than a man, right? And that's all. I can give that cool description, and then what I'll do is I will find a specific miniature, or pawn in this case, that fits that theme, that aesthetic. And what that does for me is that enables me to not be confined to, well, I'm not running an adamantine golem, and I don't even know what the hell a Taiga Giant is. I'm playing 5th edition D&D. This Taiga Giant is probably something inside of the Pathfinder, you know, monster manual, if you will. I don't want to run that, but as long as I use a regular Frost Giant template from D&D Beyond or the monster manual, or I use a Hill Giant, whatever the giant is, you know, so as far as how his actions go and what his, you know, initiative or his his armor class or his hit points are, I can use that template. So I know it's balanced. I'm not creating my own monster. All I'm doing is I'm just creating my own visual description so that my PCs are not sure, dude, is this a Frost Giant? Is this a Hill Giant? Well, we know it's a Frost Giant, not a Hill Giant. Therefore, we know this encounter is tougher because, you know, the Frost Giant has a higher CR than a Hill Giant. But if I just explain that you're coming upon this dark, crusted, you know, warped region, and you see this dark giant, this real dark-skinned black giant that looks like he's been rotted or defiled, and I use this, and I explain it as that, well, this thing now fits perfectly to my description. But I'm not having to worry about whether I actually have the stats or the book that shows this Taiga Giant. So take that idea and that concept for any one of these. Now, why do I use the pawns? I kind of explained it in the beginning a little bit. They're a lot cheaper. I can get a lot of them. They also give me a good perspective. And what I mean by that is sometimes I'll use 2D terrain and 3D terrain. So I may have a bunch of large pieces of terrain out onto the battle mat. There's another video I did on dungeon decor sets. So I may have this on the battle mat, and this may be a significant barrier. Maybe there's something in here. Pretend there's a hidden secret entrance in here. By having this on the table and then having some dungeon decor pieces where I just simply have a couple of chits, like cardboard. Imagine this has a piece of forest or shrubbery on it, and I put it face down onto the battle mat. My PCs know that I'm trying to indicate where there's forest, so maybe some hedges or some bushes that the rogue can hide behind. But because it stands out in contrast, this area, this shrubbery, is not a big deal. This means something. It stands out visually, so maybe there's some significance to that. In that regard, I can simply take this zombie guy, put him down, but I want to show and indicate where they are so the PCs know who to attack. But when he's next to this guy, it stands out. It makes him instantly feel more important as though, you know, it's more epic. And I will often do that. As much as I use Pathfinder pawns, when it gets down to a boss fight, or, you know, maybe the Curse of Strahd effect, where there's this villain, this recurring villain that the PCs have interacted with through the entire campaign, and it's finally coming to a final climactic battle, I will go out and I will seek out an actual miniature. I may paint that miniature, but it gives good contrast so that I can still have really cool visuals and epic, and like I said, I'll describe and explain what it looks like by using these little ones, but it makes that one combat when these things are on the table, or, you know, the large dragon. When this dude's on the table, you know it's time to get serious, right? So it gives a good contrast. The other thing is Pathfinder pawns is what I use for 99% of my NPCs, as I said, other than the bosses, but my PCs are always going to be actual miniatures. And that makes them stand out on the table. It makes them feel more important. So that's a good way that you can build that contrast. Even if I had the ability to get all of the miniatures I want and pre-painted stuff, or have them painted professionally, yes, it's going to look better, but it gives me some good focal points by having a combination of 2D and 3D, just as I would have with actual terrain, and then maybe just some terrain pieces. Things like that, right? Or maybe a dry erase where I just have the, you know, the grid, and I draw a couple of hot spots to indicate this is where fire is, but it's my actual structure of fire, you know, my actual crafted terrain, or maybe something I bought, Dwarven Forge, which is an archway with actual, like, little, whether it's cloth or something, you know, tissue paper or something that's seeming, you know, moving in the wind. That stands out, and that tells the players there's something important there, but he still wants to indicate where the fire is, so be careful. That's the beauty and the benefit of Pathfinder pawns. And again, I'll end it with this. Most importantly, you get a lot of content, a lot of cool things here for 25 to 30 bucks. So that's it, folks. I hope you all enjoyed this review, and I hope that it helps to indicate to you whether or not you feel like this might be a fit for you in your gaming group. I'm Rich the Lich. Take care. See you later.